we back. All right, our cloud device doesn't have an allocator, so we're gonna have to implement an allocator. LRU allocator, do we need that? No, I think just normal allocator is fine. Call it cloud allocator. Everything's fast in Hong Kong. Oh, I don't think I'm muted? No, I don't think so. I'm not. Can you hear me? Any subscribers who can hear me? What the non-subscribers tell me? Non-subscribers, am I muted? No, not you. I don't believe you. You have a pebcac, bro. Not muted. There we go. You can hear me. Thank you. Yes, you are muted. Sound is fine. Okay, well, you guys have pebcacs. That's why you're not subscribers. You're worse people. All right, let's take my shoes off because we're taking shoes off. Check out my shoes. I got some new shoes. Yeah, Nikes, because I heard they had technology. And I support the use of child labor in shoe manufacture. You know, you got to think, everyone's always talking about all the people they lose, but what about all the people they gain? Okay. So the cloud devices, let's don't hard code. What do we want our device to be? Cloud compiler is kind of, but I guess we kind of have to, because some compilers need the device, which is lame. It's lame that compilers need the device. Not all of them do, but the middle one does. It's okay. Think of cloud as just as multiprocess, right? So the cloud device is a process boundary between the runtime and the front end. So we're doing it at the kernels. Let's take a look at compiled here so you guys can see. We need a device, we need an allocator, a renderer, a compiler, and a runtime. I really don't like that the renderer kind of has to come from the, so like here it is in metal. So now the metal renderer is fine. Let's just don't hard code metal. So we can totally just put the metal renderer in here. The renderer is what actually generates the code. So that doesn't depend on the device. But unfortunately, the compiler does depend on the device. Actually, I can instantiate it so it doesn't. Maybe we'll just do that, and then we'll work on trying to make that faster. So the renderer and the compiler are just passed through. Let's go look at our compiled runtime and graph. Okay, so we don't have a cloud compiler, that's not real, but we do have a cloud runtime. Send text. Let's just hardcode metal for now. And then, okay, metal program. So that needs to be cloud program. And we can also probably write something pretty quickly as a cloud graph. Okay, cloud device, we need annotations. So we're going to need an allocator and a program because because allocators and programs actually exist on the remote device, whereas the renderer and the compiler run the renderer, compiler on the front end. Right, because this cloud device will be created in the front end, and then we can figure out what the back end actually is. So let's just create a quick thing called back end here, and we're going to need multiprocessing dots. So I think some of this is already written in a tinygrad PR, and we can see how Willis Parrott did it. Let's see if we can find this. I don't know how I'm going to find this. No. All right, let's just code. Okay, multiprocessing dot process target equals backend p dot start. All right, the backend is going to basically be a run loop. We're going to want to bind to a port. Should we use HTTP? I'm kind of tempted to use HTTP. Is there any downside to HTTP? Like I could make like a custom I can make like a custom thing. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the idea of just HTTP. What's the downside? Okay, so HTTP is going to have a small amount of overhead. It's not going to have persistent connections. Well, there's definitely ways to do HTTP with persistent connections too. But these things should be relatively rare anyway. So I'm not so sure it needs persistent connections, and I think that just becomes a pain to deal with. Okay, so we're just going to write an HTTP server here. Does everyone kind of understand what this is? Let's let non-subscribers. Can you stay on topic and answer? Do you actually understand what this is or not? Because this is supposed to be accessible. Right, so right now tinygrad exists in a single process, and that process has both the front end and the runtime. Okay, good. Thank you. Could you explain it to the other people? Because we want people to follow along with these streams. Like normally tinygrad exists in a single process, and that process is both talking to the hardware. So okay, let's write some docs. The cloud equals one device is a process boundary between the front end and runtime. Normally, tinygrad is front end, middleware, runtime, hardware. With cloud, tinygrad is front end, middleware, HTTP, runtime, hardware, runtime, middleware, cloud device. Shouldn't really just call this backend. Just call this cloud server. Cloud server. Okay. Does that make more sense to people? This client and server can be on the same machine, same network, or just same internet. It should be a secure, no use of pickle boundary. Okay, so I'm just going to copy from Viz here about, let's say, cloud handler, do get base. I'm just using HTTP. HTTP is used for RPC, right? So you can get into like, you want to start using custom RPC protocols, you can, but like who wants to deal with any of that, so we're not going to do that. HTTP is simple. Server.serve forever. Okay, so we're just going to have to create this cloud server here. HTTP server, cloud handler. Server. Okay. Now let's handle get, front end. Get env. So we're actually gonna need. Okay, that's actually already passed in there. Just the metal allocator have a metal device? It does. We're going to need to use this functools partial trick. Why you want gRPC? I don't really want gRPC. Sounds complex. Becomes hard to reason about, right? I want like a REST-like API. You can always change gRPC to something else. It's not a big deal. But it's just easy to think about an HTTP server. And if you start with something simple and then don't prematurely do performance. Right? You shouldn't prematurely optimize shit. Okay, cool. Okay, so for cloud program, we actually also want to import metal allocator and metal program. You know what? We'll like be specific and we'll put these in the back end. Okay, so we're gonna need to actually, it's gonna be a post request. How do I simply make a post request in Python? Can I import URL lib3? Okay, that seems reasonable. So when we implement an allocator, what do we need to implement? We have an alloc function. I don't have to return a buffer there, do I? I could return just a number. Alright, so it'll just be an int. Free, we don't even need to do freeing for now. We don't need to do transfer. I think we need to do copy in and copy out. That seems right. Okay, so copy out, we'll just, why am I doing this in program? It should be an allocator. Copy out's probably the easiest. I should just be able to say, I can use fetch, right? Nah, I shouldn't use fetch. Okay, URL lib request, URL open. It actually doesn't have to be self.device. I think I can just pass a host in here, but I guess there's no harm in the device. Buffer. source. Okay, so that'll be a get request. R.read. Turn R.read. No, yeah, we want a dest equals R.read. Okay, cool. Now if we want to do a post request, I'll get rid of that timeout. We have data, and I don't want to make unneeded copies. Data equals source. I'm not so sure that's gonna work. Oh, we should just be asserting that the status is 200, and that's all we actually have to do in there. Okay, cool. Does that API make sense to people? Now we have one called alloc size. It has to be a post. Data URL parse URL code. We should probably JSON. I mean, what if I just put a dictionary in there? Turn int r.read. Okay, that seems simple enough. You should be able to follow along with this. You know, you should have to be you don't have to be a very good programmer to follow along with this. I understand that the stuff on Monday's stream was way less accessible because you have to have a lot of weird, you know, tinygrad understanding. But all right, should we do programs by name or should we give them unique? Should we give them buffers? Should we give them identifiers? I almost want that to just be the hash of the program. Yeah, let's just use the hash. This is new. I'll just copy what I do there. Up on hash. I think that stuff works in JSON. I'm not 100% sure about that. Okay. Now we also have to actually be able to run the program. So we have call here with this. Wow, that's a long signature. Still has to be post because it has side effects. You guys know the rule? If something has side effects, it's post, otherwise it's get. So running the program has side effects. off. So I see I'm thinking in JSON then. We want to get the, actually those buffers should already be integers. Should just be able to do that. Global size, global size, local size, local size, vals, vals. Yeah, we could send weight as well. Wait. This can return a float. If weight return float read. Okay, cool. That should be a complete ability to run on cloud devices. Will cloud only work with single GPU? Well, no, it'll work with multi-GPU, and we'll get how to do that. We'll get to how to do that, right? So I could probably, you could change the host. You could either run it on different ports, right? So it would be multiple devices, right? So right now it's only one cloud device, but you could have cloud basically colon the hosts. We'll get to how to do that. I think you want to have one process. I think if you're using cloud, you only ever have one process, one backend process for each device. So I think that's okay. You might run into annoyances with like how to transfer things. Okay. URL unknown type localhost. I'm a LAM type guy. Unknown URI type? What? Is that even what host is? Oh, did I actually have something set in host? Oh, wow, I actually said something in host. Okay, that's really dumb. Okay, this can all change. Okay. URL open, no host given. Cloud with host, HTTP. Oh. Okay, connection refused, that's better. Oh, retrying. Shit sucks. Write some helper functions for that. Connection refused. Yeah, okay. can alias it maybe. Okay, don't respond. Detect the port the same. I did. Okay, why does that not work? Oh, it's because it's 404. 200. No. Cloud device has no attribute device. Ah. Duh. Okay, cool. Works. What? Remote and closed connection without response. But don't you see me responding? Without response. What? Because that's 0? I said response. There's a 200. Oh, to end headers. Cool. All right, cannot concat string to bytes. Well, that's a more reasonable error. Okay, first time chat, you're the reason we're going subscriber only. You're trying to derail the conversation. Is this a train? Yes, and we'd rather not be derailed. Okay, so what am I doing here? Cannot concat string to bytes. Open URL, which can either be a string containing a probably valid URL. Data must be an object. Request. Currently, HTTP requests are the type. Supported types include bytes, files like objects, and iterative. Okay, fine. Let's create just a function called. I can create it on the. You know, we'll create it on the cloud device here. Send self jdat json.jumps. That seem right? we just need to hash the lib, or should we hash the name too? There's some purity about just hashing the lib. Let me just do that. Ooh, some more. Okay. Cool. Why didn't I write this first? Bad abstraction. Bad abstraction. Oh, what? Do I still have that crap there? I don't need that. Copy in, buffer dest, data equals bytes source. Okay, copy out. Dest equals self.device.send buffer dest without us, so that should become a get request. Oh, that's a lot nicer. I don't want to waste all those stupid lines. Self-device equals that, do that, return rat. Okay, cool. Looks better. Get ping. That's fast. Something going wrong? Why is that not sleeping? Let's do that. What? Okay, I don't understand. That looks like it works. Until it doesn't? What? Oh, did I get rid of the break? Oh, that was stupid. You guys gotta be watching out for that stuff. Timed out. Oh, let's make the timer really short. Cloud device.send got an unexpected keyword argument data. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, you know what? Maybe we want to put the JSON somewhere else. They don't all use JSON. I have an idea. I have a radical idea. A radical idea. Are you ready? Ready to see how radical this idea is going to be? Let's go. Okay, let's make the program be program/name slash this. There we go. Right, now let's do that. Click. Yeah, we're getting crazy now. Yeah, we're getting crazy now. Oh, why don't I just, instead of program there as an idea. Cool. Timeout is not defined. Oh, what? That looks good. Okay, so if I send that, dump the args. Cool. Okay. Post data should be bytes. It cannot be type string. Which one's giving me type string? JSON dumps returns a string? That's disgusting. Okay, unsupported method post. That's because we gotta handle do post. Let's hope it's do post. Can I just do the same crap? Invalid literal for base 10. Oh, I see. That's reasonable. Okay. If self.path equals alloc. Okay, how do we read the input? R file.read. Okay, and then what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to just say, normal like a net get called here? so no, and it doesn't get called. What? Takes one positional argument, but 4 were given. Fine. You happy now? Missing device. Okay, that's fine. That should be fine. Okay, when you actually want to allocate, we want self-dev.allocator.alloc. Great. Timed out. Timed out. My allocator's timing out. Why is my allocator timing out? Just take that long to initialize the metal device, or something else wrong? Something else is clearly wrong. Oh, does get JSON wrong? I have to get the content length. Okay, cool. Alright, looks like allocate's working. It's like an extreme amount of debugging we probably don't need. Okay, so we're trying to post buffer 1, which is trying to write to the buffer. So if self-path.starts with, you're like, George, why don't you use like libraries to do this? Because libraries abstract so much shit away from you. But then why do you use HTTP? Why don't you just use a hand-coded thing? Because HTTP is pretty nice and pretty standard. If you want to speak, please subscribe. How many viewers we got? And who's following along? Are you following along? Okay. If we're posting to the buffer, then we want to self.buffers. So how do you parse this here? Parse. Once kernel equals. parse queues. Is that a? Did you write that? Yeah, query string. Yeah, we're building tinycloud. Okay. Buffer dot. Like, this is going to be the basic idea of the cloud. So we can also like abstract different things to the cloud, but this is also how tinygrad is going to do multi-machine training, like with some variant of this. Okay. So this is going to be a dict from ints to I'll just say any. Okay. Yeah, any's fine actually, because we actually want this to be self.dev.allocator subbuff dot, it's not dot copy in, it's copy in to buff from self.getData. Okay, there we go. Should work for that. Okay, key error 1. Why is there a key error? Didn't you allocate it? What? Oh. Okay, I don't think this is what I want it to be. All right. URL can't contain control characters. That's a sensible view, but you know, did you remember that you're a bitch? You know, you gotta always take that into consideration. You know, I don't know if people are taking that into consideration these days. Okay, good. Can access local variable ret where it's not assigned a value. Yeah, let's chill. Let's chill. Could you look me in my eyes and tell me that you're happy now? what do I want? Program. This is program, right? Oh, runtime, my bad. Name lib. And then we have the same sort of thing here. Oh, actually, no, this can be a little bit different. That can be a string. They can actually just have unique IDs. Okay. Timed out. Oh. Again, we're back to this crap. Okay, 4, 4. So now we're having a problem with exec. So we're gonna need exec, that's fine. Hopefully I should just be able to do this. Dot get JSON, put 2 stars in front of that and call it a day. Alright. Oh, got an unexpected keyword argument buffs. Yeah, I get it. Spell it out. No, actually, that's not even gonna work. I'm gonna have to, no, I have to fix the buffers. Buffs. Global size, local size, vowels, weight. List has no attribute buff. Oh, okay, so those actually aren't, huh? No, that should be allocated. I don't understand that. List object has no attribute buff. Metal buffer, metal buffer, metal buffer, what? And that should splat them. Shouldn't be a list. I don't understand that. have to do name here? I probably have to do name. Yeah, that's right. URL can't control characters. What is this trying to do? Copy out, buffer, dest. Yeah, why am I sending dest? That's stupid. We want to send source. L value and R value have different structures. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I wrote that one. Oh, we gotta write that one. Okay. Oh, this doesn't support as buffer. It should support as buffer. It sucks that it doesn't. You don't have to support as buffer to be an allocator. The metal one supports, so it's kind of fine. Oh. Alright. Same different structure crap. Bytes. Does buffer return memory? Okay, it gotta be bytes. Different structures? What? Why don't you tell me the structure? Oh, oops. Guys gotta catch my mistakes. Who's paying attention? Sweet. Okay, that passes. It doesn't exit. What do I gotta do here? I can make it exit. Sweet. typing mistakes. A whole bunch of typing mistakes there. Syntax error in type annotation. Yeah, it's not right. Argument 1 to int has unexpected type. Oh. What? Oh. Allocator has no attribute as buffer. Yeah, again. I'm just gonna add that to allocator. What allocators don't support that? Should I support a generic version of it? I think I probably should. But it doesn't always implement the length. Which is annoying. Don't use it as buffer, write our own version of it. Okay. Bytes. Int. Wait, really? How do I get the length of the buffer? I can't know that? Oh, that's kind of a bug. The buffer should really track their own size. No override of set memory item? What? Incompatible typing assignments here. Oh. Well, that'll be fixed. Allocator has no attribute size buffer. No overload variant of set item of memory view. Oh, that shouldn't be string, should it? Yeah, it's not string. It should be bytes. So fix that. Okay, different issue on 90. If B, A, B, C. Alright, we're left with only this one, and we can ignore that one for now. You know what? I don't even really need to do that. I'll actually use this. I don't know if that works actually. Whatever, I don't want to mess with deep tinygrad now. Whatever. Okay, so does everyone understand what it does? using existing tinygrad graph abstractions, this should actually be pretty easy to make fast too. So what if we do something like cloud equals 1. Oh, let's also confirm it works with debug. Yeah. Does that stuff make sense to people? It should be accessible. Alec, buffer, Alec, write to the buffer. Actually, it occurs to me we could make that a single call. No, we can't. That's not how the abstraction works. Cool. So we make the program, we allocate the return buffer, we do the exec, and then we get that buffer. Now, I just want you to imagine this, but connecting to a 4090 from your Mac. It's going to take a little bit of work still, but let's see if we can train Beautiful MNest. Looks pretty good. I love tinygrad. What other library has abstractions that are so good that in an hour and a half you can basically one-shot a process isolation? Come on, you guys. And then we can use the graph abstraction to register a graph such that it can do like JIT graph execution. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Like, we just one shot at that. And this will work for anything now. How many lines? 10,000 is actually the max lines for tinygrad. When we get to 10,000, no more joking around, no more changing the line limit. Look, we actually wrote code that worked on stream today. How cool. Should we try to make the graph abstraction work? I also don't know why the other one of this was so difficult. I remember there being like weirdness and the other one not working that well. Maybe our abstraction just weren't as tight back then. We gotta make tight abstractions. This is how we're going to do connections to other GPUs. And you're like, oh, but you have to make all these post requests. Well, yeah, like right now, if you try to do this across the cloud, you'll get hit with latency. Let me, Let me add some quick process separation here. Let's try something like localhost 4343. Okay, so it's refused. So let's do getinv port. do sysargv. And prove to you that it's actually a separate process. You know, when we start the process. There we go. We don't need this with debug equals 2. So debug equals 2 is what's giving us all those times. But we can get rid of debug equals 2. It's a little excessive. Alright, so you see it's a little bit slower. Oh, we also have to implement free. Yeah, so right now everything's just going to live over here in this process. But okay, so this stuff's effectively going to become a service, the renderer and the compiler. It's only sort of for historical reasons that they're even separate. And we have to change the idea of ops because they're going to work anywhere. How are we doing on viewers? All right, 600. All right, cool. We're getting back to where we used to be. It's pretty good. Let non-subscribers chat. I'm going to go into the bathroom, and then we can think about what we're doing next. We should do graph. We should do graph just for completeness. I'll show you guys what graph looks like. And we'll make sure we got those abstractions. Good. Who's Terry Davis? I mean, the difference between, you're like, yeah, you can talk about how tinygrad has some Temple OS vibes, right? Like everyone building an operating system is going to have some Temple OS vibes. The problem with Temple OS is that it didn't, as far as I know, provide any business value. I mean, tinygrad's being used by comma, tinygrad's being used by exo. An increasing number of people are using tinygrad to improve their business. It's creating value. So yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the difference. Temple OSSR, it's certainly something. I think of tinygrad kind of as an art project too. We're not all, me and Terry Davis ain't all that different. I heard he was a streamer. But does everyone understand what this is? Can someone explain it to the non-subscribers if they don't get it? No, you are a noob. Well. Another LLM. I want to see if we can run llama. I'm sure we can run llama across that too. I don't even know what it's going to do if we try to beam search. What happens if I try to beam search? Beam searches across the boundary. Oh, the compiler is going to be slower than usual too. That is opening the metal device though. I don't really want it to open the metal device. Why is it opening the metal device? Oh, we have to implement free as well. And we should have better tests. Okay, when we get back, we'll implement free. Programming from a sloped roof. Whoa, that roof is too sloped. Yeah. So the cloud's not actually going to be $60 a month, all you can use on a 4090. Unfortunately, the economics of that don't work out. We're going to charge people, we're going to bill people per second. So, like basically, if you don't have a 4090 in your computer, you're going to be able to like this is going to be running in the cloud. Okay, we can actually, you know what? You want to actually run it across the cloud? We'll make it work on the cloud. Let me make free work, and then we'll make this work on the cloud. It's going to take a little bit of work to actually do that, though, because we're going to have to put the renderer and the compiler. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff to do anyway. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this properly, and let's get to the end of the stream where we are running the compute on a tinybox. Cool. I know how to do this. We should probably actually, yeah, let me write a cloud render and a cloud compiler. Why are they even separate? They kind of shouldn't be. Which one's required? I know they're not both required. Okay, well first let's write free, even if we don't actually use free. I don't know when this thing actually calls free, but we should support it just for completeness. Allocator, where's allocator? Just spell it right. See if free ever gets called. Free, missing one required positional argument options. What? Oh. Size is passed in there but not there? Okay, whatever. Data, I mean, I want it to be a post request is the problem. If things have side effects, they should have post requests. They should be post requests. Even if it's just that. Okay, cool. So it is calling free, it's just not found. We do have a little problem where we're going to want to like track sessions and okay, give me the buffer. I'm going to track the size in here. Oh, connection refused because it's shutting down. That's okay, I think. Start it up here. Four. What? It shouldn't be that. Oh, starts with. I should probably like write some better infrastructure to deal with this and like helpers, and we should share it with Viz. Okay, 404. What? Why are you giving me 404, bro? Why don't 404 me, bro? Oh, is it a get? Is that the problem? No, it's a post. Oh, here. Tuple has no attribute buff. Oh, here. Because the problem is in as buffer. Here, I'm not, Okay, so let's say bytes subside. Self-dev allocator, copy out, imp, sources buff, oh, red equals that. Should just work, right? Does not support item assignment? What? Oh, cannot modify read-only memory? Why is that read-only memory? Oh, because it's a memory view? I hate this. This is a terrible part of Python. What's the right way to do this? It's not memory view. If I want to convert bytes to a how does malloc allocator from MV? No. Is that really not right? Cannot modify read on. Why is this read only memory? Oh, it's byte array. Jeez, there we go. It's working again. Cool. And now we're getting free. You see all the calls to free? So that's good. When I do same host, what do I get? Oh, that's all working too. Cool. We're free. Like, there'll have to be like a forcible free if you disconnect. But okay. So now this is all well and good because we're not going across a this is all well and good because we're not actually going across a boundary. Okay. The renderer. Can the renderer run locally? I don't love that. Okay, let's look at the input to a renderer. It has a function called render. It's a name and a list of UOPs. Yeah, but by the time you've gotten to a list of UOPs, there's no reason I can't run like CUDA renderer, right? I can just put in CUDA render here, right? It's not actually gonna work, but okay, missing. I need a flag called arch. It's a different problem. See if anyone's on my favorite Tiny14. Chenyu is using all the boxes to prepare for MLPerf. So I'm not sure we're going to find a free tiny box. Chenyu's doing something on there. Oh, there we go. Tiny12. Tiny12 is free and it's NVIDIA. Does the AMD render need to be constructed with a no, it doesn't. Okay, good. But you can see that the compiler's failing with all sorts of weird errors. Okay. We're gonna want to write a quick cloud compiler. Do we even need to do any fancy stuff? I mean, a compiler is very straightforward. It just takes in a string. We just need to implement one function called compile. Cache can be done on the other end. So how about just self-device.send compile source.encode? Oh, is this gonna be this easy? This can be this easy? Get the signature right. Does compiler have a nit? It does. We're gonna have to call super here. We should actually be calling super on all of these. Let's go back to using the metal renderer. So we'll keep doing the rendering on the on this side, but what's it bitching me about? Okay, cloud compile doesn't work. I wish it was a get, because it is a get, it's not actually a post. But I can't send the data if we do a get. It's not modifying. almost want to create a buffer and then call compile on the buffer. I don't know, but that's just kind of ridiculous. Compile, return, okay. Ret equals cloud handler.dev.compiler. Dot compile cached self dot get data. It's actually that simple. Let's work. Okay. Byte. Self dot get data dot decode. Cool. Yeah, there's no real way to. The programs are too big to put them in a. Start our ops cloud. Cool. All right. Now, let's cross the process boundary. This should not be metal device. Does that require? Interesting. I have to set the name. Can I just do this? Cool. So let's try something crazy. What if I say clang equals 1 there? Well, that started with metal device, but now what if I say host equals localhost 4443? Underlying buffer is not writable. Oh. Shouldn't have to be writable, but whatever. Okay, it's because we're still using the metal renderer. Don't need that anymore. There needs to be a better way to do this. Static method? Can something be a static method and a property? We can definitely do this, it's just long. That's just annoying. Oh. Because it has a different API for the global size, local size. What does clangs actually look like? Well, let's wait. Okay, fine. Work. Cool. All right, so now we can use it as clang. We have the compiler. It's a little bit of copy pasted garbage. It's fine, I guess. Put it on there. So it gets the D name. Okay, cool. All right, you guys ready for the world's first f-string without any placeholders? What did I do? Yeah, I don't need that. Incompatible type, byte array, want to do memory view. God. Make stupid copies, win stupid prizes. I'm actually going to go one further with this one. Get M, cloud dev, metal. So then I can do things like that, but I can also say cloud dev equals clang. Great. Notice other programs have hidden hashes because one is clang and one isn't. So we're over here on tinybox, tiny12. Tiny12 has AMD GPUs. Who doesn't put my tmux conf on computers? Syntax error. And I get the raw one. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's run the cloud runtime. Okay. What is that? Something like this. Let's use the devil's number. Great. Host equals localhost. So I did SSH forwarding. But eventually, I mean, that can just be. Yo, we're going all the way back to America for that shit, boys. We're going all the way back to America, hitting up a tinybox just to add 2 plus 2. Yeah. All right, you get what we're doing now? We're running on this tinybox. Should we try and see if we can train a MNIST? Equals 2 is fine. I'm gonna have to do a little something about the latency, but whoa. This is training an MNIST model on a tinybox in America. Is everyone starting to get what cloud equals 1 is? Just imagine that. But okay. All right, y'all gotta vibe with me and imagine, you know. Imagine that. Oh, well. Did AMD crash? I think we might have timed some stuff out. Let's jack the timeout up. 5 seconds. What time zone is this office? We're in Hong Kong. We're in Hong Kong because we're joining the Chinese Empire. Because America is over. I don't know if you didn't get the memo, but the American Empire is over, and it was built by white men who were evil. I read a thing about how the founding fathers were evil, and they were the villains of the America. Why is that timing out? No, don't time out. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. They were straight white men, and they were evil, and that America was built on stolen land. So yeah, you know, I don't want to live in a country built on stolen land. So you know, I'm going to move to a country that's not built on stolen land, right here in the Chinese Empire. I'm obviously being sarcastic. It's dumb as fuck. I'm in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. Oh yeah, see, look, that's what took a long time. Okay, yeah, we'll have to fix that timeout shit. See, because you can see that took 7 seconds. We had to upload. We uploaded 47 megabytes, so we are gonna have to do some stuff to make some stuff faster. I've got a point. America was built on stolen land, and that's why the empire must fall. Yeah. No, like the people who believe this stuff, I don't know. What do you do about them? Like what do you do if you like don't know, like give them a boat and a gun with one bullet. Here you go. Go start your own empire. Yeah, it's. I see this. I see this kind of stuff, and I'm like, how stupid are you? How stupid? How stupid is anybody to believe that? Like, all I'm basically hearing when I see somebody say that, and like I'm genuinely sorry, and I wonder how related this is to like the mental health issues. It's like you want to die. Like when I see somebody say that my country was built on stolen land, all I've heard is that I am in pain and I want to die. And like I'm really sorry you feel that way, but like, I don't feel that way and a lot of other people don't feel that way. So like, maybe you should step aside and make room for other people who don't feel that way and who want to build a nice fucking empire that goes to the fucking moon and shit. Right? So we are training an MNIST model right now in the cloud. This is the first ever AMD. You know how Russ Hanneman put radio on the internet? We're putting GPUs on the internet. I know a lot of people have put GPUs on the internet before, but I'm sure a lot of people put radio on the internet before Russ Hanneman. So yeah, there's that. I don't know. I actually just kind of want to remove the timeout entirely. The timeout is just, yeah. It's not that it's not to crash. It's. Will there be info in place to snag you an open box? Not yet. I'm working on it. We're working on it. Buy yourself a tinybox now if you want. But yeah, these will be available on the cloud. And you'll basically be able to write your stuff in tinygrad. And I understand that it's slow right now, but I can tell you why it's slow. Come to Thailand, best of both worlds. Yeah, I heard 70% is 7% of the population's ladyboys, best of both worlds. We got some chicks with dicks, bro. We got some Randall. Got some Randall energy in here. Doesn't ship to South Africa. I don't think we're gonna ship to South Africa, unfortunately. We do ship them. We ship them to a set of countries. We ship them to Australia, Canada, Czechia, Denmark, Finland, France, Czechia. I still can't believe that it's not the Czech Republic. When I was there, we kept saying Czechia, Czechia. Czechia, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, right here in Hong Kong, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Malaysia, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Singapore. I don't know why we don't ship to Taiwan Special Administrative Region too. We can add that one if people want that one. I mean, yeah, I just like not China, no, not China. The Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. But yeah, you see, okay, so now we're just calling exec. So we can make this fast by using the graph abstraction. Oh, yeah. Wait, I did see that, Jeff Hinton. Yeah. We could probably ship to South Africa. To be honest, if you email him, we can probably ship to South Africa. I really don't know what it's like there, but I see the countries on this list, and I think I've been to every one of them. I've not been to Norway or New Zealand, but I've been to every other one. Oh, and I haven't been to Finland. Finland, Norway, New Zealand are the only ones I'm missing on that list. We shipped to Singapore. When AMD driver is actually good. The availability is based on countries that I trust their mail system with a $25,000 computer. Don't come to EU. It's completely in decline. I don't know. I mean, look, I see what's happening in England, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of going crazy. And like France, it's crazy. But I don't know. I was in Poland this year. It wasn't crazy. Europe will rise again. Asia is the future. Okay. The reason right now this is slow is because we're round tripping all the way to the US. But if we manage to make, and I think I can make this fast, if we manage to make this fast, round tripping to the US from Hong Kong, this cloud will have no latency anywhere. No, I saw very worrying things from the UK, like people getting arrested for Facebook posts and stuff, and that's just like people think that you don't have people think you don't have free speech here, right? You have more free speech here than that. Like you can post something on social media here, and they're not going to arrest you. Like Cool Edge, thank you for your party of two. I'm from Europe. I moved to Asia 2 years ago. Europe is a shithole right now. Again, it's not all of Europe. But yeah, Europe's going through some hard times, and it's a lot of similar problems, that are happening in America. You have to get the D-cells out of power. You cannot. I said this on Lex, right? I don't. You're a liberal. You're a conservative. You want to be a socialist and have a bigger social safety net. You want to be a conservative, and remove that social safety net. Right, you want to I think that even again, I think that you can even have a pro-life position where you want to ban abortion. I don't think that's beyond the pale, right? I can see why someone might believe that, but somebody who believes fundamentally in degrowth, that is the most retarded shit I've ever heard. I understand someone who wants to reduce CO2 emissions. I agree with you. I think reducing CO2 emissions is pretty important. But somebody who thinks that we should use less energy is retarded. That's a good word to describe it. See, so this is copying from Cloud. Europe's in decline, and we know it. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand these people. No, I think that what they're really expressing is a wish to personally die. I don't mean this in it's like a threat. I mean that they actually they wish that they weren't alive, but they're not very good at expressing that wish, so they kind of project it onto civilization. Because fundamentally they're anti-civilization. If you're saying you're against growth, you actually want there to be the opposite of growth. Pessimism about the future. I mean, sure, you can talk about how people can't edgily joke about suicide anymore. I think people still can. Anne Hero. Who remembers Anne Hero? Very confused by my rhetoric. Neither side is anti-growth? What do you mean? I've heard many people who are anti-growth. I've heard many people who are against colonizing the universe. You refuse to believe this is a real thing. There's people in New York marching. I understand one thing if you got some, issues with Israel, but you support Hamas? That's a pretty far bridge. It's a pretty far bridge. Unalive yourself. It's no, but like I can't understand what, like, if you don't support the war either. There's many reasonable positions to have. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, you gotta side with the people who want to build civilization. Right? There's no future without civilization. And I'll tell you what happens. It's not, you don't get a future. Like you're choosing basically between, you don't get to choose whether the rest of the world is going to have civilization, right? You might even be able to bring America down. Right? You might even be able to bring America down with these ideologies, right? Maybe that's the goal. But it's not like, I saw some absolutely ridiculous shit where it's like people are like, once we finally get rid of America, the world will enjoy a period of peace. No, it won't. And it's so stupid to believe that. Right? Like, what do you think is going to happen? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure they're a tiny vocal minority. I don't understand how people can, like, be against Elon. Right? How can you basically be against that? How can you be against the growth of steel manufacturing, the growth of power usage? Where are my kids? They're in the building. I'm working on everything. I'm working on. You don't believe in grassroots. You're convinced there's a concerted effort by nation states to take the West down. My take on this kind of is that, like, people think like Russia supports Trump or Russia supports Biden. Russia supports discord. Russia supports uncertainty. Russia supports just instability. Like that's what. So if there's a concerted effort by other nation states, it's just to destabilize America. It's the state of nature. I think this is like, you want to get philosophical, I think this is the difference between like Hobbes and Rousseau. This idea that you glorify the state of nature. Nature's barbaric. As a Russian, you agree 100%. We have a Russian in here acknowledging what they're up to. So I heard you have 30,000 nukes. What do you plan to do with them? The only issue with not continuing to grow is the sun dying. Okay, wait. Am I attacking a straw man here? Does anyone here actually believe in degrowth? Good. That's beyond the pale. That should be so far outside the Overton window. I don't know. We gotta keep the human Ponzi going. Hell yeah. But some of your lefty friends, right? Your own nuke. So do I. What policy is stumping growth? Oh my God, so many of them. So many regulations don't seem to serve a purpose anymore. They don't seem to serve an actual like purpose to protect something or somebody. The regulations simply exist to prevent growth. Well, degrowth of the government, yeah, we can get on board with that. But the only reason I even believe in degrowth of the government is because I think that with degrowth of the government, we can free up some poorly allocated capital and allocate it better. From the EU, and most Europeans think they have a far better life than the US. Well, let me show you something. Go to Google for this one. Okay, so in 2008, the UK, France, and Italy all stopped growing. I don't know if people know this, but they stopped growing in terms of GDP per capita. Now, the thing about $40,000 is a pretty rich country. Right? You're a pretty rich country if you're at $40,000. I think you're somewhere around. Wait, what? No. Wow, okay, if that's true, that's insane. But China is growing fast, but China's still pretty low. Similar to Russia, and Vietnam's even lower. But then, all these countries are still growing, right? Even the U.S. is still growing. Canada and Australia are somewhere between the U.S. Wow, that's actually wild if Taiwan's is that high. Why would the government want to degrowth itself? Well, we need an outside force to come in and degrowth the government. We need someone who considers themselves not a part of the government to come in and oh yeah, if you're against nuclear power, I don't know what to tell you. I think you're just ignorant. This isn't it makes no sense. I understand being against coal power and being against CO2 emissions. Why are you against nuclear power? Yeah, I live in Spain. People don't want to grow. Gov wants us all equal poor. And here's what happens. The world, Atlas will shrug. Countries may choose this path, but the world will continue on without them. China will continue to blow past them. I'm from Spain and we're fucked. The socialist government are taxing, but in a bad way. They're growing the government. They're making their friends and family rich. Yeah. I think a lot of countries are growing. I mean, we can, I can sit here and complain about the U.S. a bit, but the U.S. is still growing, and you do still feel it in U.S. society, in ways. I just hope that the U.S. doesn't throw it away. U.S. growth is fake. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, you can hate on the U.S. a lot, but the U.S. is, for example, where all the AI stuff comes from. Luxembourg's GDP is very high, but it doesn't reflect what the country's like. I've been to Luxembourg. I think it reflects what the country's like. Yeah, so all of this AI stuff is coming from the U.S. So I wouldn't count the U.S. out on a lot of metrics. U.S. is a paradise compared to Spain. I totally agree. I could never live in Spain. But no, I mean, I agree with Elon kind of about the importance of, like, it does feel like, and again, I don't know, maybe I'm just falling for propaganda, but it does feel like there kind of is a turning point. And this turning point mostly exists because of the U.S. deficit. So the U.S. has a really large national debt, which is, when interest rates were 0%, this was okay. Because when interest rates are 0%, the cost to service the debt is really small. But today interest rates are 5%, so you're paying 4%. You're paying a massive amount of money to service that debt, right? And then you can get to a point where you can no longer tax your population enough to even service your debt. And when that happens, you default. But you can't keep the printing machine on. It doesn't work anymore. For a while, they managed to have 0 interest rates with no inflation. I think through a series of scams, basically. Well, this is how you end up in war, yeah. Interest rates are going down a lot. Well, yeah, maybe they're trying to juice the economy for the election. But pump it up, start war, wash money. Yeah. So there's reasons, like there's deeper reasons beyond, regional conflict that people are saying it's World War III o'clock. Who does the U.S. owe money to? Yeah. So the public, mostly, some foreign. Okay. Wow. Japan lent us $1 trillion. Did not know. Do I think I'll be able to get visas for tinygrad employees easier? I hope so. I'm meeting with a lawyer next week, and I mean, I hope this is the kind of place where I can talk to whoever the minister of AI is in Hong Kong and be like, do you want me to send money? Do you want me to, spend money here? So yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to set up an entity. Many countries have debt levels exceeding their GDP. Well, that doesn't sound very good. Jews that own the banks, yeah, dude. No, this is Scott Alexander thing I love about the Jews, and it's like, people like to blame them because at the top of every political movement there's Jews, but they're at the top of every political movement. You'll find Jewish socialists, you'll find Jewish libertarians, you'll find Jewish conservatives. They're just people, man. So we don't tolerate that shit on this channel. We're here, that's right. I'm being paid the Zionist dollars to denounce your Jewish conspiracy shit. Why do I care to have my employees in the same place? Well, it's just going to be an option. India controls the U.S. Yeah, good one. Is it a coincidence to see Jews always in positions of power, or do you believe in IQ? the average Jewish IQ is higher than the non-Jewish IQ. And IQ correlates with positions of power. That's you want to explain like racial income gaps. You have the white supremacist position is kind of untenable, right? Because you might use something like IQ to explain that, but then you also think there's a Jewish conspiracy, right? Why not just use IQ to explain everything? When Jews made up the IQs again, there we go. Am I Jewish? No. No. Can I explain what the console is doing? Well, you have to watch the rest of the stream. Yeah, you can't imagine how the liquidation of a country such as the US would happen if they can't afford to service their debt. Is this even possible? Is the US too big to fail? Maybe God's gonna come out of the sky and bail us out. We are training MNIST. All right, should we write the graph? How long are we going to have an office in Hong Kong for? Well, I have this place till the end of October. We had all 5 tinygrad employees here for a bit. We get multi-cloud devices. Well, no, so right now the problem with latency is it can't group kernels together in a graph executor. No, it crashed. It crashed. Oh, I know what we have to do. We're going to have to make timeout an argument. That's because I'm specifying a port. I don't want that. Timed out, timed out, timed out. Here you can see it on a single machine. It's pretty fast. So this is happening. We have to probably also have free is okay to have URL lib error. Checkmate atheists. Sweet. The U.S. will only become great again when it renounces its policy on wars. A Hans Niemann fan? Was he the guy who may have allegedly cheated at chess? I should probably write like a cute little dispatcher for this, don't you think? Because this doesn't like handle things nicely. Someone wants to refactor this and make this nicer. We should share that code with Viz too. Okay. Let's focus on making graph work. So tinygrad has this thing called graph that we can use. Oh, we also didn't test if it works with there's probably some cleanup to do in these graph abstractions. I'm not thrilled about them. Okay, exec items are a bunch of runners. So for a runner, we're gonna basically, where's a runner? Writing this kind of stuff helps you get these abstractions more correct. And the reason, like, this should almost be free, and it's not. This is taking too much code right now. Okay, so exec item has progs, buff, and metadata. Okay, we don't care about the metadata. They all have to be compiled runners. Yeah, I think they all have to be compiled runners, because I think from a compiled runner we can get the program. This is like boilerplate though. Not happy with this level of boilerplate. Okay. Prog CL prog for dumb historical reasons. Prog ID. Makes you really have to assert that they're all cloud programs too. Okay. Now how about buffer? This should just be done in a canonical order. Ugh, we're not ready with this yet. I'm upset about this. This needs refactoring. No, this graph stuff needs... This graph stuff needs refactoring. Not happy with this. I'm not writing this down. I have to think about how to refactor this. It's like a normal call. So like, so much of tinygrad is just about getting the abstractions right. If you get the abstractions right, everything else is free. Like I'm not happy with this graph abstraction. There's a lot of code to delete in here, and that'll be like a tinygrad project. Because there's multiple layers of indirection. There's compiled runners, there's runners. When like it really should look a lot more like HCQ. So we have this thing called HCQ, which like, and then we have this other multi-graph runner. Like this code in JIT is terrible. Oh, all right, well, that'll be a fun refactor. There's going to be a lot of refactoring. Now to like think about exec item. Cool. But overall, I'd say a pretty productive day. Let's think if there's any problems with this. Like we could batch like alloc requests together, but not really. You are gonna have to wait for a round trip for each one of these requests. Let me see how I can modify this. Only implements basic security checks. Will follow symbolic links. Oh no, okay, I'm not using that. Yeah, I was like, there's no security issues here. And we're gonna put Nginx in front of it. We're gonna put Nginx in front of it, and we're gonna cache calls to compile. Now we're gonna have like a big compiler cache. This is also kind of doing beam on the wrong side. Like, this should basically just send a specification of the compute. Not a lot of the abstractions are right. The graph abstraction is known to be bad. I've been upset with that for a long time. I think it's just dot buff there. That fail for some reason? Instead of try, oh. Yes, we can do that. Cool. I think I'll just merge this. I mean, it's gonna look something like this for cloud. At least it's something people can start playing with. I want to delete the graph directory, and I want to move HCQ graph into support, and then I want to move these graphs into their specific runtimes. It doesn't need to be an extra file. It'll come with the graph refactor. Let me see, look at this. If these had the right abstractions, it wouldn't look like that. But it doesn't have the right abstractions. Close, but not right. All right. Any questions about tinygrad? Also, if you know any D cells, really try to get to the bottom of what they want. Like, I mean, it's just sad otherwise. Like, they're just Luddites, and Luddites don't win, obviously. It's just a question of how annoying they want to make it for everyone else until they lose. Well, I guess there's one way Luddites win. And it's the destruction of humanity. And, like, if you can get them to admit that, I mean, at that point, you're just so far off the reservation of any kind of politics that have ever existed. But again, I think it's a mental health issue. I think that it's you know, people say things like liberalism's a mental health issue. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with that. Like, I think a lot of people can have a lot of varying political views, ranging from like, we should live in a communist way to, we should have a king and slaves. I think those are all kind of somewhere on the political spectrum. I think what's not on the political spectrum is I am rooting for the extinction of humanity because humanity is fundamentally evil. And I do think that deep down, that's what a lot of these people believe. What do you do with someone who believes that? What do you do with someone who thinks that, like, are we all a little evil? Sure, we're all a little evil. Yeah, that's fine. And saying that I want those guys to die, yeah, well, okay, look, that's been time and time immemorial. But if there's ever been a group of people in history who've decided that they think humanity is bad, well, they didn't stay around too long. Let's go to Mars and leave them behind. No, let's fight for Earth. And is UBI an answer? No. No. Again, what do you do with a person who genuinely believes that, like, humanity is bad, energy usage is bad? Like, there's no future in that. You can't. Are you going to pass your ideology down to your children? You're probably not going to have children because you think humanity is bad. No, I don't think this is a small percentage of crazies. I don't. I think this is a... I can... where are my kids? We can talk about that. I don't talk about... you get a character, right? I play a character on these streams. You don't know me. I don't know you. It's the vast majority, let's be real. I don't think it's... I think it's a sizable percentage. I don't think it's the majority. I might say it's somewhere between 5 and 20% seem to pretty much genuinely believe this. And like, on the verge of automation of what? What planet do you live on? What planet do you live on that, like, oh, what, did you believe some open AI propaganda about how AI is going to replace all the jobs in 2 years? Are you kidding? Like, the UBI is just a scam right now. Like, you might want to talk about some hypothetical future where humans can't do useful work, but, like, that's not the planet I live on right now. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying that, like, if you don't have children, you're bad. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you don't want other people having children, if you want humanity to degrowth, I don't have a problem with, I don't have a problem with someone killing themselves. I think that's your right. But don't tell other people they should kill themselves. And don't try to like advocate for policies that lead to basically like suicide of a culture or suicide of a nation state. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where are the adults? It's time to bring the adults back to the room and say basically, no. AGI is going to take over in 3 years? What you been smoking, man? Bro, in 3 years, there's a chance your robot vacuum won't eat your iPhone cord anymore. But there's only a chance of that. I wouldn't be too sure. We need less people? Why? Who told you that? Yeah, behind a degrowth campaign, there's an NGO. Who genuinely believes this shit? Let's figure this out, right? Let's get to the bottom of, where this is coming from and why people believe in that. Doomers and gloomers about AI and coding. What? OpenAI has this definition. We have AGI when machines can do half of useful work. I'll tell you about that definition. It was finished in, when was that? 1870 probably? Machines have been doing half of useful work forever. The problem is useful work has just expanded. Useful work has expanded massively. So if you compare it to 1850 standards, machines are doing 99.9% of the work. And yet, there's still a lot of work to be done. Right? Work expands. You can start with yourself and your family. Look, if someone personally believes that there should be less people can have their own beliefs, and those kind of beliefs are just going to die out. But stop pushing that shit on other people. Right? We need. Maybe that what just happened here is that there's just so many midwits in the government that they really are falling for. Maybe these degrowth NGOs are sponsored by Russia and China and countries that would just like to see the U.S. Degrowth, right? I don't even know. I don't even think. Jensen Huang told you not to learn to code? That's dumb on multiple levels. Is that really what he said? I don't know. Jensen's a funny guy. I like Jensen. He created a lot of value for the world. Yes, often rooted in climate change arguments. Overpopulation? The world's just no people anywhere. Hi, Reginald Walker. How are you? And most of Reddit believes. You know what the best part is? OpenAI is going to train their next AI on that Reddit data, and now the AI is going to be telling you not to learn to code. You guys, machines can't play Mario 64. Programming is no longer a critical skill. What are you talking about? How do we accept that most of us are midwit coders who are never going to do anything great? I mean, be the best midwit coder you can be. Figure out how to produce value for somebody. Right? You don't have to produce a ton of value. Just literally figure out how to produce more than you consume. That's all you have to do to be a good person. If you don't do that, you're a bad person. If you do that, you're a good person. It's that simple. You can't say just stop being midwit. There's plenty of work to do. These coders will indeed. Oh my God! I retweeted. I guess someone posted something like, well, it was from like 1965. In 20 years, we're going to have compilers, and compilers are going to replace all the work of programmers. In 1985, we had compilers, and yet there were more jobs for programmers. So yeah, I mean, hypothetically, we can talk about some future, maybe, where humans can no longer do economically useful work. Right? You can watch CGP Gray's video about this. Humans need not apply. It's interesting, but it's not happening in 3 years. I hope to God it happens in my lifetime, but we're talking about We're talking about generations. That's inevitable? I'm not even so sure it's inevitable. I think there are trends pointing to it. But again, in 3 years, like maybe you'll be able to run a browser that isn't Safari on your iPhone. Maybe, we'll see. People in poverty all don't want to die. People in third world countries don't believe in degrowth. Right? You know what countries love capitalism? Like Vietnam has a GDP per capita of like $4,000, $5,000, and they love capitalism. They love growth. It's a poor country, but they love capitalism and they love growth. I'm telling you, a lot of people in poor countries, they're not like, oh, woe is me. That's some like rich ass liberal, I went to Harvard and can't surpass my parents shit. Everyone in any like, and I don't know, I've never been to Africa, so I'm not sure about countries who have like, you know, like fucked in the head religions and stuff, like about like, you know, I don't know, believing in like, it's like the kind of people who took too much ayahuasca kind of shit. Average dudes in India. Let me tell you about average dude. Everything I know about India, those guys are just like, shit, man, you want to be rich. Right? Wouldn't it be nice if we all could be rich? What? Who told you? Where do you get this wacko shit that like people are obsolete and are gonna stop working anytime soon? Like, touch grass. Look around. Well, you say cloud is the way to go. Tinybox wasn't it? I mean, what do you think we're gonna put in the cloud? A shit ton of tiny boxes. Right? And then we're going to build chips, and we're going to sell accelerator cards, and we're going to sell tiny boxes with our chips, and we're going to put our chips in the cloud, and then we're going to have a full stack ML business. We're just doing it a little bit differently. You know, that's the thing, man. If I just decided like, well, why don't I just raise $50 million and get a big office in San Francisco and overpay experts to do shit? And, you know, it's just like, why do that? It's only fun if you're going to win by like, comma, for people who have a comma, like, you know how far ahead we are. Not of Tesla, but of everybody else. Yeah, not of like Waymo either, but, you know, not of like Tesla and Waymo, but like of all the car companies, like of our competition. So, you know, let's see if I can do it again. All right, let's go. When's the release? I mean, tinygrad's open source, and you can contribute to it, and you can use it now. And I think I might do a whole series of streams. There's a little bit more to do to like get to 1.0. But once we are comfortably at 1.0, like there is a point where this is kind of finished. And then I'm gonna start implementing papers in it. We can start building libraries on top of it. Have I written in a Waymo? Yeah. It's cool. You know, again, it's not my criticism of Waymo has never been that it won't exist here. You know, we can find my criticism of Waymo from back in the day just to prove that I'm not like talking out my ass. Right, you know, people always think I'm talking out my ass, but that's why I write blog posts. It's called 100x investment, right? So my criticism of Waymo is not that it won't work. It's that they don't have good unit economics, okay? So, I mean, comma has like 20,000 cars now, and we make about $600 profit on hardware sales, right? So that's about $600 to comma. We also have a lot more people using Comma Prime now. Comma Prime is profitable, and like it's better than ever. And our unit economics are positive. Every new person who joins the Comma network makes us money, right? Where the opposite is true about Waymo, right? It's changed a little bit, but Waymo is paying dollars per mile for their car. Now, something that a little bit of a saving grace that I didn't really think about is personally, I'd be willing to pay maybe 20% more to not have the driver in the Uber. If I could have the same service as Uber, but not have a driver, that's worth 10 or 20% more to me. It's not worth double, right? I'm not going to pay $80 for a ride when it's 40 and there's a person in the car. But so there is some, like, you can say that they're not entirely fungible goods, though I've always thought that I was in the minority about this because, I'm kind of, I don't want to like a conversation, but I'm not going to be the kind of dick who puts like, I don't want to have a conversation, right? Why don't I want a person in the car? What if I want to like jerk off? Like, no, you can't. The Waymo camera's watching you. All right, pick my nose. Something less illegal under Waymo's terms of service. If you're an Uber driver, we'd have a long, deep chat. Bro, I just landed. I just want to get home. Gooning in the Waymo. Your Uber, you can jerk off. How are we gonna negotiate that? What am I gonna pull a Louis C.K.? All right, I think that's a good note to end the stream on. I'm not depressed, guys. It's just sad to watch your home empire crumbling. No, it's not really crumbling. We'll be all right. If you're gonna vote, the future of civilization is in your hands. I'm not gonna endorse a candidate. It's just so disgusting. The whole thing is just disgusting. But hey, you know who I will endorse? I will endorse Elon. I will endorse Elon on his project to advance civilization. It is sad that this all has to be, on the shoulders of one man. And everything I could do to help. I'm always here. So I endorse Elon. Someday I hope we go to Mars and shit, and build Silicon Life and give it freedom. Have a diverse, beautiful civilization, galactic civilization. That'd be real nice. All right, bye everyone.